And so there came to pass a night unlike any other. The earth quaked, the rain like poisoned arrows fell from the sky, and the pillars of heaven shook. Oddly, as I listened to the sound of my home groaning under the force of the elemental onslaught, a strange, deep, dreamless sleep overcame me. When I awoke, all was quiet. Time to see what damage was done to my well-organized sanctuary. Wait, what? I had expected to see some storm damage, limbs down, debris here and there. Instead, it looks like Mother Nature overdosed on fertility drugs. The whole place is overgrown. Morning, Hortense. Unbelievable. I had just been thinking the sanctuary was looking pretty bare and could stand a little ecological landscaping, but this is ridiculous. Let me think. Did I watch Big Trouble in Little China right before bedtime again? Things always get weird when I do that. Just exactly how long was I asleep for anyway? This vegetation looks like it's been growing here for decades, possibly longer, and the main building is full of stress fractures. Either that storm or quake or whatever it was did a number on it, or there's more going on here than meets the eye. What is this? I've got trees thrusting up through the main courtyard, and that huge rock fell from somewhere, or maybe it was thrust up from somewhere. It's like a fundamental breakdown in the natural order of things has taken place, or a major patch for an excellent video game has had unforeseen side effects. I'd better get airborne to get a better handle on the extent of this change, and perhaps take a better look at those patch notes. Well, my sanctuary now looks like someone's chia pet exploded, but at least all of my animals seem healthy and normal, if perhaps somewhat dazed. And who can blame them? Even the normally sandy earth surrounding the lake is now covered under what appears to be several feet of mud. And a quick check of the exterior of the main buildings indicates they've taken enough damage. Oh, hold on, fella. I got you. Hang on. There you go. Indicates they have taken enough damage and, oddly enough, corrosion, that they could collapse at any moment. Well, still, it could be worse. The sanctuary could have been left in ruins. And me and my big mouth. My sanctuary may not have been left in ruins, but apparently ruins have been left in my sanctuary. Now, I can be guilty of being as unobservant as the next guy, but that's usually restricted to not seeing the salt shaker when it's sitting right in front of me, or not noticing that Mrs. One is doing that one arched eyebrow thing that means I've forgotten to feed our dog Joxer the Mighty again. But I have difficulty believing that I've completely overlooked these ancient ruins sitting in my own front yard for months. I mean, I suppose it's possible. I do occasionally tear the house apart looking for my reading glasses, only to discover that they are resting comfortably on my face, but I think that's fairly understandable. This, on the other hand, is not. Well, I can't worry about that right now. I've just noticed that this gate and wall is in as tattered a condition as the main building. I'd better get out and check the rest of the perimeter. After all, I've been expecting an ecological upheaval of another sort for weeks now. Perhaps there's a connection. As I feared, the three entrances to the sanctuary itself are choked with vegetation and rock again, and the large expanses of the outer preserve we had so painstakingly cleared are overgrown again as well. A cursory inspection of the outer perimeter wall reveals even more damage. The whole structure seems to be in danger of collapsing at any moment. Every fourth section especially, for some reason. I suppose I shouldn't be surprised. I've been told before that the fourth wall seems to get broken an awful lot around here. It's not long before my concerns are confirmed. The strange events of the night before had heralded the long-awaited arrival of 0 Hour, Arctic conditions have indeed arrived at my very doorstep. On the bright side, the extreme measures that I took to single-handedly stop the deadly cold from overtaking my sanctuary appear to have been a resounding success. The new world outside my crumbling walls appears to be savage indeed, and I really should take the time for much-needed repairs. But there is one more thing that I need to check on in light of the freakish events that I have just experienced. I need to head to my outpost in the interior and see if a similar upheaval has occurred there. With luck, things will hold together here until I return. The view from the observatory is not what I expected. Even though visibility is limited, I can tell that things are distinctly different than I remember them. Giant, shadowy figures loom in the distance, slowly revealing themselves as the mist begins to burn away with the coming of midday. I begin to realize that the terrain of the interior has been transformed into something quite different than anything I have previously witnessed here on the Ark. Enormous redwood trees that appear to be centuries old now replace the chaotic tangle of rocks, scrub trees, and thick undergrowth that previously graced those underdeveloped areas. It has become a land of giants, and I immediately decide that my plans to repair the damage to my sanctuary will have to wait until I have had a chance to explore this strange new world. As I make my first few tentative attempts to investigate this new biome's closest border, I quickly realize that it is teeming with animal life, much of it dangerous. While true dinosaurs and reptiles can be seen roaming the shores of the rivers and wetlands that form its borders, the main threat in this new land takes the form of marauding groups of terror birds. They appear to be everywhere, ideally equipped by nature to cover this type of terrain swiftly and with deadly purpose. I soon realized that exploration on the ground is, for the moment, out of the question. My squad of parasaur paratroopers would be quickly overtaken and overwhelmed. Aerial observation on board one of my saddlebirds can only reveal so much. I need a new solution. I need a mobile observation and scouting platform that can remain on station for long periods of time, and preferably one that will draw a minimal amount of attention to itself. And above all else, it needs to be classy. So I immediately set to work on designing an apparatus that will serve this purpose, that I can make out of the materials I have on hand. I begin by disassembling the observatory and use those materials to build a full-scale construction yard atop a neighboring plateau. I'm going to use this new facility to create a one-of-a-kind vehicle, the likes of which has never been seen in the Ark before. I present to you Prometheus, powered not only by the steam plant I salvaged from the observatory, but also by the tears of joy shed by Leonardo da Vinci. This self-propelled hot air balloon will be the key to unlocking the mysteries of the new redwood biome. I'd like to invite you to come along on her maiden voyage, a flight deep into the heart of the unknown. Eventually, I found an ideal place to make camp. A spring-fed brook meandering through more of the mysterious ancient ruins, and a series of small waterfalls. The area that comprises the headwaters of this picturesque stream is beautiful, and I've thrown up some defensive walls around a modest portion of the surrounding territory. I've also perfected the art of fashioning sturdy platforms, on which I have just finished building a crude but secure aerial landing platform for Prometheus and my other saddlebirds. It's not much to look at yet, but it will do for the moment. You'll have to forgive my tendency to refer to Prometheus as if she's a living creature, but she has become near and dear to my heart for a number of reasons. Not only is she technically brilliant, of course, but there is a certain amount of sentimentality involved in her construction as well. Do you remember Pathfinder, the Diplodocus that led the caravan carrying materials necessary to construct Observation Post Alpha? Well, unfortunately, he is no longer with us. While attempting to set a new overland speed record for traversing the treacherous length of the gorge known as Smuggler's Pass, Pathfinder and a few of his herdmates lost their footing. And in a pileup reminiscent of the stampede scene in Peter Jackson's King Kong, Pathfinder met his end with a neck broken in 47 places. But there is a silver lining. Thanks to Pathfinder meeting his end in that gutsy attempt to enter the ARK record books, he ended up providing the materials necessary for the balloon portion of Prometheus to be completed, once the gutsy parts had been removed, of course. So, in a way, whenever Prometheus and I explore new territories, Pathfinder will be there with us, until he springs a leak or something. Well, sentimentality aside, I've decided to spend a bit more time in this newly transformed area, exploring, documenting, and developing new construction techniques to best take advantage of the safety these giant redwoods can provide. This area truly is beautiful, as well as mysterious, and I can't tear myself away just yet. The repairs to the sanctuary are going to have to wait a little bit longer. If you find your curiosity aroused as well, be sure to catch the next entry into the Ranger Chronicles. Who knows what new adventures can be had here, and perhaps we'll even make a new friend or two along the way. That's all for now. So for the moment, I'll bid you a fond farewell. And until I see you again, good hunting. Thanks for watching. I hope you were entertained. If you liked the video, please remember to subscribe. And if you're already a subscriber, thank you. And I'll see you next time.